What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So I actually realized ever since we got Cyberstorm access that a lot of players are misplaying with the newer decks. So, you know, Purely, Super Heavy Samurai, etc. They're really playing into some huge blowouts, and they could easily play around them. And I do believe that I've managed to kind of figure out most of the correct sequencing for these misplays that people typically, play into. So today I'll try to show you guys as many of these plays as possible. Of course, I have more ideas in my head. It's just that I can't really fit all of them in one video. So I'll be going over, I think, 3 interactions in this one. But before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. You already know the drill. Gotta smash that like button, my man. Yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so first things first, I guess I'm gonna play Purely on this one, and my opponent, which is also myself, is going to be playing Super Heavy Samurai. So of course, when you have Joel and then Infinite Impermanence and your 1-card combo or whatever, make sure that your Droll never actually goes on like an empty board, because then you can lose to Gamma. In a format where Droll is good, Gamma is also good. And of course, when you're Drolling a deck like Super Heavy Samurai, you don't want to be Imperming anything at all on your opponent's turn. You want to hold your Imperm for the Baguska. Anyways, my opponent will be searching the bike, and then now, the Soul Piercer with the bike. And then now on the first search, after, there's a card on the field, I can finally go for the Droll safely. I don't have to be afraid of Gamma. And now the Prodigy Wakoshi is going to trigger, summon, and then discard, revive back. I'm not going to be imperming that because I don't know that this is a Nibiru. For all I know, maybe this could be an extender. And if I waste my imperm here and my opponent summons a level 4 extender, then he can make Baguska and I lose the game. Whereas my opponent will realistically not try to make a bigger board regardless of the amount of extenders that he has. So it is way safer to hold the imperm on my own turn. And now I'm going to be imperming that Baguska, and now I am free to play. The only thing I have to worry about is Nibiru, and preferably not giving my opponent an extra turn. So if I can kill right now, that would be really, really nice. So I'm going to be discarding the Hedgehog, summon the Purely, and of course excavate 3 cards. I get lucky and I get the Happy Memory, discard the Squamata, summon the Purely Lily, and then Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, so that's going to be sending the Beast so I can draw 1 card. And I'm going to be getting my friend Purely, and this is going to be giving me another card. I think it matters a little bit just for the name, but not really for the effect of that card. It's not really the end of the world because I don't really need like an extra monster. And as a matter of fact, that's actually 4 monsters on your board. So I really didn't want like the discard to like special summon a monster anyways. This is a really interesting interaction because in this situation, my opponent has a Scarecrow in attack position, 0 attack, and I have a Purely Beauty. So this can negate the effect of a monster my opponent controls. And now this is going to be able to attack multiple times. Again, I'm going to be negating that. And I'm going to be going attack. And then I'm going to be able to search a card with the effect of happiness. And this is the combo that a lot of people are pretty much afraid of, concerning happiness. It is a card that can technically attack like 4 or 5 times, well actually 4 times, equal to the amount of Happy Memory underneath +1. And every single time you use that effect to like attach, you can also, after searching something, you can actually have the attack of a monster upon controls. If your opponent had like a monster with higher than 0 attack, you would be able to do that. But in this situation, there's pretty much always going to be the Scarecrow, unless your opponent tributes it with a Soul Piercer. So if you only have Baguska on the field, ironically, you're safer. And also, if you only have Baguska and nothing else, you play around Lava Golem and Sphere mode. Whereas in this situation, you would have lost to Lava Golem, but it doesn't matter because people typically play Santa Claus anyways. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep, getting more and more searches every single time for a Happy Memory. Again and again and again, half the attack of Baguska. Now it has freaking 262 attack, which is absolutely hilarious. And again, my monster attacks 4 times. 4 multiplied by 2000 equal exactly 8,000. So that's usually an OTK, but sometimes it might not be an OTK on the spot because you might have had to use the I think it's Beauty, the one that gives both players 1,000 life points. In this situation, I guess you have the Purely Beauty to attack anyways, so that would be an extra 1,600 damage. But yeah, just watch out for that because you don't want to give your opponent too much life points. Anyway, so that's it for this one. Let's get right into combo number 2. I said combo number 2, but this is not necessarily like a combo for Purely because this also applies for, the other decks that might want to know how to play against Purely. So yeah, this is both for Super Heavy Samurai, for Purely, but also for random decks that just want to know how to counter stuff. Now, if you have a card like, let's say, Ghost Ogre against Purely, you really have to be careful with that Ghost Ogre because there are some objectively correct and incorrect timings for Ghost Ogre. And sometimes you might think you're crafty and smart and hold it for a really long time, but it's not really productive. Alright, so now I have triple tactic talents with a starter and a quick play spell, and I'm going to be getting lucky with that extender. If I get ogred really early, I think I can still play the game, but if I get ogred later on, can I still play the game? Who knows. Anyways, in this situation, would you have ogred my friend purely? It's up to you, but let's just say that you knew for a fact that I have the talents. Well, I mean, in this situation, it kind of changes a little bit, right? Let's just assume that the ogre doesn't get, that my friend doesn't get ogred, and then the purely Lily also doesn't get ogred because my opponent really wants to ogre this later on, which is interesting because none of the effects of these XCs are hard once per turns. They're all like soft once per turns, which is really problematic. And now I'm going to be able to attach one of the purely spells that I used underneath the plump, and I'm going to be able to use the effect special summon a purely monster from my hand, from my deck, by discarding the triple tactic talents from my hand. So now I have nothing more in my hand. Now you can pretty much guarantee that the ogre will be juicy because I can't use talents to draw to or look at your hand or whatever. So now the ogre feels really, really safe to use, but is it necessarily the good move here? Well, I don't think so, because now I'm going to get ogred on the plump while I try to have 5 materials. Now everything is going to go to the grave, but the issue here is that the continuous spell recycles back 3 freaking cards, and believe it or not, that is way more than enough for a full recovery. So it's actually funny how, trying to play around triple tactic talents or try to be smart and, outplay the opponent by holding the ogre for the very, very last actually completely backfired, because now I can go for another plump and then activate and then again attach underneath, discard, special summon a monster from the deck. I'm gonna whiff this time, not even gonna be lucky, but it doesn't matter because Plump is going to be able to attach back 2 cards. I have 5 materials, so I go for Expurely Noir, and then I overlay for Ensemble Robin. I end on 4 cards overall, and I started with 3, and all of that was through a Ghost Ogre. So moral of the story, when you have Ghost Ogre, try to use it either on the continuous spell, that's pretty good, because then the recovery game is going to be worse, or on the Purely Lily. But again, another issue with that is that your opponent might have I think it's a Happy Memory that makes your monsters or your cards actually indestructible by card effects until the end of the next turn. So that's another really annoying thing that you might have to worry about, but yeah, in this situation, please just don't try to hold your ogre for too long. Anyways, that's it for this one. Let's get right into the final interaction that I think a lot of people are messing up. Alright, so for anyone who's familiar with my channel and who actually watched my Super Heavy Samurai combo video, this is nothing new, but basically one single Soul Piercer in any discard can play through Nibiru. But you have to have the right extra deck, otherwise it's not gonna work. So yeah, you're going to be going into the Link 1 and then search the bike, get your Prodigy Wakoshi from, yeah, I mean, now there's really nothing interesting, but it will definitely get interesting very soon. So yeah, search the Soul Pierce Maker, and then revive back, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now this is where it becomes really interesting. So here, my opponent obviously has to Nibiru, because then I can just go into a Baron and win the game. But if my opponent actually attempts to Nibiru me here, Jesus, oh my, what the hell is going on with me? I will be able to chain the Axial Synchro and summon Stardust Dragon and quick sync into a Baron de Fleur. And the beauty about that is that even if your opponent holds like Nibiru Imperm or Nibiru Veiler, Nibiru Ogre, it's still not going to be enough because it is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So this is really nasty, right? A lot of people keep saying Nibiru is only good with another hand trap. I actually... At this point, if you know how to play around it, it's still not gonna change too much. But yeah, at this point, obviously, of course, you have full combo regardless of what happens. One single card should be enough to get you there. So you can still do exactly, I mean, pretty much the exact same as usual. The sequencing is a little bit different, so you still have to understand, what you should be doing here. Because, of course, it's really easy to mess up a combo that you're not really used to doing. And the thing about the Super Heavy Samurai deck is that it's really linear, right? It's always the same thing that people do every single time. So sometimes when people have to improvise, they start panicking and they do random shit. But yeah, this is the reason why you really have to practice worst case scenarios. And again, if you are playing cards like Stardust Dragon, which I believe you should be playing if Nibiru becomes popular, you should also understand the weird lines of plays that you should actually follow when you do get hit by Nibiru. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other, ideas of plays that can be improved, let me know in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.